Hello BookTube, I need some pick-me-up, so let's do some tags. So the first tag I'm going to be doing today is the favorite character tag. The tag was created by Leo from A Little Book Life, and I saw it on Bookish, or Brian of Bookish's channel, so I'll link both of them down below. So prompt number 1, a character that you love fiercely. I have several characters. Tim Drake from Batman, he's the third Robin, and then he became Red Robin, and now he's back. And then for a little bit he was Drake, and now he's back to Robin. He's the Robin I grew up with. When I first got into comics, which would have been slightly after the Nightfall saga, he was just beginning his career as Robin. He'd had a few miniseries or limited series to his credit, and then he would, in about a year or so later, have his own comic book series, Robin, which lasted for well over 100 issues. And I just absolutely adored following his adventures. Another one would be Billy Kaplan. He's the superhero Wiccan from the Young Avengers, who, from the first time I read his adventures, I just gravitated towards him. He is an amazing character who I don't think is done enough justice. He really should be, he and Hulkling should really be far more prominent than they are. And Max St. Valentine, or later Max St. John. He's the sidekick, adopted son, ward of Rune St. John in the Tarot sequence. He is by far my favorite character in those books, which I think is probably why I am rather critical of the main characters, Rune and Brand, who abuse him. I mean, it's for a comedic effect, but it's still child abuse. Although, I mean, and it's just because his family, Valentine's, the Lovers' Court, were, considerably more abusive to him, does not excuse what Rune and Brand do to him. No. So a lot of my tarot sequence rants are generally in defense of Max. And I do wish more were done with his character. So prompt number 2. A character that is heavily flawed but you cannot help but love. For this one, I'm going outside of comics, manga, and science fiction and fantasy, and going with realistic fiction or literary fiction. And it's Neil McCormick from Mysterious Skin by Scott Heim. Neil is a deeply flawed character who you can't really help but, be moved by. And it's really powerful and really, tough. But anywho, number 3, a character that made you laugh out loud. I'm going to go with a bit of a curveball. I have 2. Bloody Ann from Priest of Lies and Priest of Bones by, I'm forgetting his name, Peter McLean. She is a hoot of a character, even though it's very dry, very understated, but Bloody Ann is an amazingly funny character, I think. And also Jude Dubuisson from City of Lost Fortune and Gather the Fortunes by Brian Camp. He is really, really funny character at times. And their antics make me laugh out loud. Number 4, a child character that you like. Linus Van Pelt from Peanuts. He's my favorite Peanut character, or Peanuts character, and I really enjoy some of his antics. Number 5, an animal character that you love, the Avank from The Scar by China Mieville. I just really, it's just this mysterious being that is fished out from another dimension and is so little seen and so mysterious that it's incredibly well done on Mieville's part. Number 6, a strong woman character that you like. I'm going to go with two, both from Fairy Tale. Urza Scarlet. Actually, there's 3. Urza Scarlet, who's this the most powerful female wizard in Fairy Tale. She has the ability to change out her armor and also weapons, and this gives her various added magical abilities. And she is by far an amazingly strong, wonderful character. And Lucy Hartfilia, who is a celestial spirit mage, she can summon spirits associated with the zodiac and other constellations using magical keys. And while she's not in any way, shape, or form in Urza's league, her sheer persistence and sheer progression as a character in Fairy Tale is just absolutely amazing. And I love them both. And as I've said several times before, I don't have any Fairy Tale with me. It's been good 6-7 years since I've had collected any manga, but I would like to recollect Fairy Tale amongst other manga. And another character I added, Miss Jane Marple from Agatha Christie, who is a spinster whose life experiences and just sheer deductive reasoning allows her to one-up the police again and again, and she is just an amazing character. Number 7, a brave character that you admire. I have 2 again. Frodo Baggins from The Lord of the Rings, who is an average person. He's a hobbit, but he's still like every man, who is presented with an incredibly difficult task, and he rises to the occasion, facing innumerable dangers along the way. And though, yes, he does fail at the end, that failure does not take anything away from the fact that he made the journey in the first place. That he braved all of that, from the flight to Rivendell, to the mountains, to the mines of Moria, to various attacks, to Shelob, and also going into the heart of a volcano. Even though going into the heart of the volcano should have killed him really quickly, but anyway. And also Naruto Uzumaki, who, though he does begin Naruto as a bit of a brash braggart, he's just incredibly, I think, brave, and ultimately, once he gets his head on his shoulders right, it's just amazing. Number 8, a character that a character that scares the hell out of you. I'm going with the Weaver from Perdido Street Station. So the Weaver is this extra-dimensional spider-like thing, entity, in which it's that sees the world in a completely different way than most people. The Weaver, its sense of self, its sense of reality is artistically rendered. And that aesthetic sense compels it to act in ways that are at times incredibly frightening. And definitely, as somebody who has a bit of a fear of spiders, would not want to encounter a giant spider with an insane sense of aesthetics. And also the Hanged Man from The Hanged Man by Katie Edwards. That character, ooh, he's scary. So number 9, a really mean character. There can only be one, and that is Tywin Lannister from A Song of Ice and Fire. The less said about him, the better. He is just cruelty for cruelty's sake, even if he claims it's for the good of House Lannister. No, you're just a sadistic. Number 10, a character that you really hate. I'm going with a Baron from Blackfish City by Sam J. Miller. So the primary story of Blackfish City is a family coming back together again. So in the backstory, there was a society of people who were augmented. And most of these people, I think, were, if I remember, it's been a few years since I've read it, were killed. And several were taken to this city and then adopted out, and their mother was placed in an asylum. And there's this sort of memory plague that's very sort of AIDS, XB. And so while the main story is this family coming together, there's this other character who is the grandson of one of the city's founders. He's incredibly wealthy. And he has a friendship with this character called Baron. He's this, I kind of think of him a bit as like Quentin Crisp in a way, who was, before he came to the island, a housing activist in New York. He's also friends with another one of the main characters. They're both working on this plague, and they believe Baron has some knowledge of where it came from. And Baron leaves the young, wealthy idiot on until he can capture him and basically entrap him in a little orb over a furnace, and then promptly incinerates the young character, who is actually my favorite character in the book. So that's, and I can't remember his name, so let me run real quick and check that. Okay. Okay, so the character's name is Phil, who's, he's young, gay, wealthy, and then murdered quite brutally, and he was my favorite character. And so I really just absolutely hated Baron from that moment on. So, Baron is by far, from Blackfish City, is by far my most hated character. Anyway, so that was the favorite characters tag. I actually quite enjoyed doing this. It made me think, and trying to remember and track all of these answers to these prompts down was quite fun. So if you would like to do this tag, please consider yourselves tagged. I'll have another video up here in a few. So, yeah, see you in a few. And until then, thank you, BookTube, and stay safe.